Palantir just broke a new all-time high. This historic move by the company has got everyone's attention. It seemed like Palantir was losing momentum, but then they prove everyone wrong. The third quarter reports are 1 month away, but we already discovered some huge piece of information. This is not something being discussed publicly. What happened? Everything points to one thing. It's like all missing puzzle pieces have finally come together. But what am I even talking about? Well, let me explain. Disclaimer: Palantir has won again. As you may already know, they've yet again reached another higher year-to-date price. However, Palantir's doubters are still around, and they've been giving Palantir a bad name. Despite the company's performance both in the market and their offerings, it seems like Palantir can't shake these doubters off. So, what has happened? Well, Palantir has faced significant doubt from institutional investors, with skepticism surrounding the stock at some of the highest levels seen for a tech company. Many on Wall Street are hesitant about Palantir's potential for future growth. The stock has been performing well, as you may have seen, but this success has only added to the doubts. Some analysts argue that the company has already reached a peak. They believe that Palantir's current high prices make it unlikely for the stock to continue climbing at the same pace. But this is just the tip of the iceberg. Recently, a compilation of analyst recommendations showed that many experts are advising investors to sell Palantir stock. According to a post on X, around 35% of analysts say that Palantir should be sold. That's the highest among the biggest names in tech. And this is where it gets interesting. This may have had a negative impact on Palantir's image. When a stock receives a lot of sell recommendations, it often causes people to hesitate, even if the company is doing well in the short term. This has been the case for Palantir, where some investors have started to question the long-term potential of the company. So, why do they think Palantir should be let go? The reason most analysts recommend selling has to do with Palantir's valuation. The stock price has risen significantly, but many believe the company's earnings haven't grown enough to justify these high prices. In the world of investing, stocks are often valued based on how much they are expected to earn in the future. If a company's price seems too high compared to its earnings, many analysts view it as overvalued. This is the case with Palantir right now. Analysts argue that the stock has risen too far, too fast, and that it doesn't reflect the company's current performance or the risks involved in future growth. And this is just the beginning. When a company is labeled as overvalued, it often becomes a target for sell recommendations. Analysts believe that, at these high prices, the risk of a downturn is greater than the potential for continued gains. This mindset has led to many in the industry doubting Palantir's ability to keep growing at the same pace. Even with Palantir's recent success, the fear is that the stock will eventually fall, leaving investors with losses if they don't sell now. The sell recommendations, combined with doubts about Palantir's growth potential, have caused concerns about the company's long-term prospects. And this could also be caused by people misunderstanding what Palantir really does. While Palantir has proven its ability to innovate and deliver strong results, the recommendations create a cloud of uncertainty. Analysts argue that the company's valuation is stretched and that it may not be able to sustain the same growth in earnings or revenues that it has in recent quarters. This outlook continues to weigh heavily on Palantir's image, as investors remain cautious about whether to stick with the stock or heed the warnings of institutional doubters. But all of these doubts have been shattered. After all, Palantir just broke all the strong price ceilings in their stock. What seemed to be impossible before has now just become reality. It's rare when a stock does this, which is why a lot of people have been speculating what caused Palantir to grow like this. But here's what's even more interesting. It's no surprise that at $38, Palantir's stock is attracting attention like never before. The question on everyone's mind is, who is buying at these levels? It could be a whole new group of retail investors jumping in. They could be seeing the recent rally and wanting to get in before the price goes higher, which could be entirely possible given how Palantir has been moving. And this is what's exciting about this. Palantir hasn't seen these levels in 3 years. So for many, it feels like a chance to catch a rising star before it becomes untouchable. But it's not just retail investors who might be driving this growth. Institutions could be feeling a serious fear of missing out. With the stock climbing so quickly, they may be rushing to buy shares before it's too late. These institutions likely missed out on Palantir's rise earlier and are now scrambling to get in while the stock is still somewhat within reach. Missing out on a stock like Palantir at this stage could be costly for them, especially if it continues to grow. But this is just the start. We also can't ignore the possibility that there's a massive price discovery happening. The market hasn't seen these levels in years, and no one is sure how high it could go. When stocks move into unfamiliar territory like this, new price levels can be discovered as investors test the market. With so much attention on Palantir right now, it's possible the stock will settle at a much higher value than what anyone anticipated. But here's what you need to give your attention to. Another potential factor driving this surge could be a huge fund loading up on Palantir shares. There may be good news incoming that hasn't been fully revealed yet, and this could make Palantir explode. Big funds often have access to information before the public, and they could be positioning themselves for a major event or announcement that will send the stock even higher. If this is the case, it would make sense for them to quietly buy as much as possible before the news breaks and the price shoots up even more. They do this so Palantir's shares won't rise too high before they get their hands on the number of shares that they need. Whether it's retail investors trying to ride the wave, institutions fearing they'll miss out, or a large fund preparing for a big development, these are all factors that could explain Palantir's recent growth. The combination of excitement, speculation, and potential good news has created the perfect storm for Palantir's stock to rise to these levels. Right now, there's a lot of uncertainty, but that's exactly what makes it interesting. One could only speculate about where Palantir is going next. And with all the good things that have been happening to the company, one possible explanation about their seemingly unstoppable growth could be related to their earnings. As you may already know, Q3 is about to end. And for those people who have been buying Palantir at these levels, it's a huge risk for them. It could either be a steal or a moment where everyone gets humbled after Q3 earnings. This stock could take off like a rocket, or we might see it consolidate and stay flat for months. After all, we've seen so much growth pulled forward recently. But the big question is, why are people buying at these prices? One of the most likely reasons is that Q3 earnings are shaping up to be really good for Palantir. Huge funds could already know this, possibly through leaks or insider information that isn't available to the public yet. This could explain why there's so much buying pressure right now. These big investors often get hints before the rest of us. If they're loading up, they might be expecting Palantir to deliver strong numbers that push the stock even higher. For now, we wait to see if the train keeps moving or if we all get a reality check soon. So, is there even proof that the Q3 earnings are good? Well, for one, news after news of Palantir's secured contracts have been talked about in the headlines. As a matter of fact, Palantir just secured a new 2-year deal worth $12 million. The money is coming from the National Institute of Health and the Office of the Assistant to the Secretary. That's a solid amount for only 2 years of work. This deal shows how Palantir continues to attract government contracts, which are often stable and significant. But this is just one of the many contracts Palantir has closed recently. The company has been winning deals across various sectors, adding to its growing portfolio. These contracts are adding up, and they might be a key reason why investors are expecting strong Q3 earnings. With government agencies trusting Palantir's software, it's no surprise that big funds are keeping an eye on the company. The steady stream of contracts like this makes the future look promising, especially with earnings season coming up. But what do you think about this? Let us hear your thoughts in the comments. If you are curious to find more, then make sure to click on one of the videos you see on the screen. And with that, we come to the end of this video. If you enjoyed the video, please like this video, and don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section. This really helps me with the YouTube algorithm. Also, please share this video with as many people as possible. Let's get this news out there.